Hi guys, and welcome back to Dudley Central. This is the autumn update on the layout. It's been a good while since I last did a video covering what I've been up to, and apologies for not getting them out, but it's just been a very busy summer, and just this, that and the other have came up. And I've done little bits on the layout and then really ramped it up during September, so I'm really looking forward to showing you what I've been up to, and it'll be great to get your opinions. Thanks for watching, and of course if you like what you see, please drop a comment and feel free to subscribe. So I think an obvious place to start really is the street scene next to the station, and this has received a lot of effort, and for those of you who follow my Facebook page and Instagram feed, you'd have seen this take shape over the last couple of months, particularly around the road surfacing, and then more recently doing some work around the arches. So what I've done is I've used this AK Terrain Asphalt textured paint. I did a lot of research online to find the best method for tarmac, and time again I found this paint was just the best that you could get. It wasn't cheap. I think it was about £8 for a pot, but it did go quite far. I've still got quite a lot left, and I've managed to do probably the best part of 6 feet of road, and to be honest, the surface which you get, I think, is really, very realistic. The other sort of treatment that's been done to it as well, so I've added pigments to it as well. So I used, I think it was city dirt, and I think there was just general dirt as well, and I've rubbed that in, done some effects with it, so it's not uniform black. The camera's not quite picking it up, but there are quite a few sort of tones in places, and it gives it a more realistic kind of effect. So I'm really pleased with how the road has evolved. Of course, I've added road markings to that as well, so you can see the zebra crossing just here. Those are the scale model scenery self-adhesive transfers, and they're really easy to do. So if you get a copy of the highways code, which gives you kind of dimensions for space and stuff, these markings are really easy to put down. As I say, I think they look the business. I don't think painting would have been very difficult, particularly on bits like that where you get the zigzags. So overall I'm really happy. I feel like the road is really now looking the part. So what I've actually done is, if I just pan the camera, so I've got a little taxi rank just here, and then as we come down to that end, I've got a pair of bus stops. So yeah, so these are the bus stops here. So I've got 2 of them, and I've measured it so that I can get 2 long single deckers in there. At the moment I've just got 2 metro buses, but overall I'm quite happy with those. And then just over to the right hand side, I've got a T-junction as well. So the plan here will be, I'm going to have a girder bridge just going across there. I might put a local brewery name on that, just to kind of set the location firmly. It's an old scaled old building that I've had for years, but it fits really nicely in that corner. So my plan is I'm going to do it as a Woolworths, just so that again it just kind of sets the era. It wouldn't be going past 2010 then really, the layout, and yeah, so that's what I've done. I've also added some of the pavement now. I've gone for my trusted Metcalfe paved slabs method. I really like doing those on my previous layouts platform. I think they give a really great effect, and for the rest of the area now I've adopted the same. Just in front of those slabs I've got the scale model scenery Kerbs as well, so they tie in excellent to one another. So what I've done is I've got my cork underneath. I've ended a 1mm layer of card, laid my curbstones, and then I did the slabs in behind it, and it all sort of level wise it just works absolutely perfect. So again, just while we're looking at it as well, so the bus shelters, I've had these for a while, so these are just like some Bachmann shelters. They're pretty good fit actually for West Midlands buses. They use a kind of combination of green and blue, so I'm going to stick with the blue. So yeah, as I say, this whole scene, I'm really quite happy with it now. What's really motivated me to complete that was that the Rapido Trains Leyland Fleetlines are imminent, so I really wanted to get this scene kind of ready, just so that they could go straight onto the layout. So onto the arches themselves. Those of you who have been following me, you'd have noticed that I've changed the colour of the arches to this kind of dark brown colour, and to be honest, there's a couple of reasons for that, but the main one was I just thought the grey, it was painted, but the paint still kind of gave that prime look, and to be honest, it just all looked a bit grey and a little bit boring. So what I've done is I've dry brushed dark umber paint over the arches to kind of get this effect. And actually doing my research, I looked at Birmingham Snow Hills arches, and actually the colour of those kind of matches these, so I thought it was a fair match. I've just tried to do kind of streaking effects and kind of darkening up patches just to try and make this look a bit aged. There's still a bit of work to do on them. As I say, the next kind of part to that will be adding a kind of capping beam along the top, and that's the kind of makings of it there, and that will bring it up to track level where I can add some line side fencing. But yeah, as I say, I was really keen to get this kind of to a point where the Leyland Fleetlines, when they turn up, this will look kind of good in the background. So at the moment I've got 4 shops under arches. I do have another couple of kits. These are the Cut Creative arches, and what you're looking at here is the kind of the back entrance to the station. So this, I'm still not 100% sure on it, but what I've done is I've painted it up in the kind of Centro green that kind of appeared everywhere around the 1990s in Birmingham, and that's going to be the kind of back entrance, and I'm going to create a little sort of diorama where you can see the subway going underneath the platforms and meeting the main concourse building on the other side. So yeah, as I say, this area, I'm now thinking I couldn't really have a shop unit there because I've got a load of woodwork just behind it, so this has to be infilled. So what I'm thinking is I'm either going to have some kind of little market stalls just here, or potentially you know, one of those guys that turn up with a like a little caravan and sell food out of the back of it, something like that, just like a little quirky diorama. I might get some buskers on there as well, and obviously this is going to be a zebra crossing area, so it's just going to be a kind of it's not too busy, but just something a little bit interesting, something a little bit different. Just here, so I've created like a little kind of sign, just from some signs that I had, and a little street lamp that I had lying around from a previous project. I've done this before actually. I've just mounted a sign, and to be honest, in the dark it looks pretty good. At the moment it's just wired up to a 9-volt battery, but again, it's just all about setting that kind of era and location. I'm really trying to sort of cement this as, you know, 1990s West Midlands. So I'm just trying to add all these little touches just to set it apart. So the other units that I've got, so again, all about the kind of era and location, and you know, something a bit personal to me, I guess. So from the left hand side I've just put a coffee shop, and that's called Jay's Cafe. And that's quite significant for me because that's somewhere I used to go when I was around 3 years old with my mum. It was somewhere near the University of Wolverhampton, and it was something that we used to do as a bit of a tradition, go for a sausage sandwich, and then we used to take the train to Smethwick Galton Bridge to Wolverhampton, and it's kind of where my sort of interest for the trains kind of kicked off. So I really wanted to kind of put that on there just as a little bit of a tribute to that. I have actually knocked up a little bit of an interior, so you can see there's a wall there. It was just something I've quickly knocked up on PowerPoint. By no means a finished article, but it was just something I wanted to put in just to kind of get a feel for how this was going to take shape. The next one along, if you're from the West Midlands, you will know Firkins really well. So they used to be a bakery that was quite sort of widespread across the West Midlands. I think the Northwest had the equivalent of Sayers, and basically they were the kind of bakers that were kicking around before Greggs really sort of took off, and I think they kept going for a good while. I think they went fairly recently, Firkins. I do kind of remember them not too long ago. But certainly in the era of the layout, this blue logo was quite common. So yeah, I'm going to put Firkins in there, get a bakery, and just again set the era and location. The last one on the right, so I have gone for a high street chain. I don't know if they're going to be around for much longer, if they even still are, I don't know. I haven't been to a high street in a long time. But HMV, my dad, he loved HMV. We used to spend hours in there, so I've just put HMV on there just as a bit of a tribute to him, and that kind of completes this scene. So onto the station itself. I actually had this arrive today. The station building has actually changed twice since I last did an update with you. The original one was, I actually had this building for a while. It was the Hornby Hagley station, which is part of their Scaledale kind of range, and it's a really nice building, and in terms of location it's not a million miles away from Dudley. However, it just didn't look quite right in my opinion. It's a really nice building, but for a kind of modern urban kind of 1990s feel, it just didn't quite look right to me. So I saw this station pop up on eBay for a pretty good price as well, so I just went for it. It's obviously in the kind of 1960s clasp style, so that was a kind of style of building that British Rail put all across the country during its kind of modernisation plan. And in my eyes, I know the real Dudley station closed, but if it was modernised like Wolverhampton, it would have got a building just like this. So that's kind of the backstory for me getting this one. I am in two minds whether to get the little canopy which sits with the station, but I do quite like the look of it for the moment. It looks quite tidy. I obviously will be adding lights to that and detailing it up, but at the moment really happy with it. I've got one of my little station signs on there, and I think next to the Class 150 it looks the part. So as I say, we're getting there. It's starting to really take shape now. Just over to the left hand side, that is going to be a kind of rail replacement bus area, or just like a little local bus hop stop, so it's not going to be the main one. And then I'm also thinking of having a car park over there next to the station. Not entirely sure yet, but that's one I've had for a good few years now, and a lot of effort went into that car park, so if I can use that, I'll be very happy. Something else that I did over the last few weeks actually was to get these platform edges kind of, you know, ready for the platforms. So I took these off the layout to weather them up. I actually had 2 attempts at this. The first, I just went in too heavy with it, and it just didn't. It just looked solid black. And you know, originally when I saw it, I thought, oh, this looks alright. But then I had we had a day trip out, and the train, I think we went out to Hebden Bridge, but we pulled into Bradford Interchange, which actually has exactly the same as this. I think I took a picture of it, and I basically used that as my sort of inspiration for weathering. I've been really trying to use the real world as a bit more of a, you know, a point of, you know, this is what things should look like. So I basically stripped it all back, used some isopropyl alcohol to just create this kind of streaking dirt that kind of accumulates in the corners, but in the kind of centres it's relatively clean, but looking damp. So I'm really kind of happy with how this is coming. It's starting to look like a proper station now. Obviously I need to add the middles to it. I'm also now looking at the subways. So again, these are some that I've had for a while. They're just the Pico subways, but as long as it kind of lines up with the subway underneath, so I'm thinking somewhere like that, and then just beyond, just over there, that is the kind of thinking with it. For this platform here, I'm thinking of going for an island building, which I think Scale Scenes have a kit for. It's going to be a little brick building, but I am tempted to merge it with the clasp kit that they've got, so that it kind of ties in with the main concourse. It'd be interesting to see if I can do that, but if I can, I think it'll look quite good. It kind of complete the whole vision that I've got for the layout. So kind of on the station approach now, a lot of work has gone into this since I last did a video. I think I had one weekend where I just went a bit crazy with the Dremel, just cut all the track and it all just went straight in. So what we've got, and I'll just kind of point to you, so we've got the kind of main lines which come in here, and these two here, so we've got the kind of passing loop platform 1. That's in there. The other main line going that way, so that's not actually laid properly yet, it's just sitting in place. It's all cut to the correct size, but I still need to do the sleeper spacing. So we've got that, and then I've also added the kind of branch line loop. So the kind of idea here is that a train, I'll just see if I can, there we go. So yeah, so a train can come in from either main line and come across the double slip into here. Now it can reverse, it can go into the bay if it wants, it can go back onto the other main line, or it can actually continue round. Now that line rejoins the main lines over here. So again, what that does is it allows a train from the bay platform to come out onto the main line, or come in from this main line. Again, for me, I feel like things have just got to kind of make sense and tell a story, so that's the kind of reasoning for that. I don't know if it's prototypically correct, but it just gives a bit of interest, and it also just, you know, gives an opportunity for something to just sit in a passing loop on the other side while something shoots through the main line. where that Class 150 is. However, I've now got another little idea. Well, I've already bought it now, so I'm kind of committed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an automatic brake control system, which will effectively create a shuttle. And the shuttle will run from this bay platform. It's going to run all the way round past that Class 150, and then it's difficult to pick up on the camera, but this line splits into two. So the idea here around this side is that those two lines go in there behind the back seam. Let's move that glue. Now behind the back seam I've got a fiddle yard that I've put together, and that takes 5 lines at the moment. So this is where it gets really kind of ambitious now. So what you might see there on the near side is that front line is actually going up. It's on risers, and at the moment that's about 1 in 32 I think I've calculated. Now I get it, I get that's quite steep, but the only thing that's going to be running on that are the Class 121s and the 153s. So what that's going to do is it's going to go just behind. It's going to take a tight corner, and then behind there it's going to come right out. It's going to run right up to this level here, which is approximately there. Whoops. So yeah, so that is going to come out. The 121 is going to come out here, and basically what's going to happen over this side of the layout is this is going to be all tunnelled because of the way the trains have to take this corner and meet the fiddle yard. It's not going to look realistic if you can see the fiddle yard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this tunnelled here. This is all going to be covered now, and this kind of 4 by 1 foot is going to become a little sort of local terminus, and that local terminus is going to be based on Stourbridge town. Now, so you can now see the kind of idea with the 121s and 153s. It's going to run up, and I'm going to do it in the style that Stourbridge town was in between 1980 and 1994, just again to kind of fit the era, and it kind of just sits, it actually, that track plan fits perfectly into there. So that's the plan at the moment. It's been a lot of work actually to get this back scene in. I looked long and hard at this side of the layout, and I thought it'd be a shame to just have 10 lines of fiddle yard for all that space. So what I've done is I've effectively done 1 foot of scenery, 1 foot of fiddle yard, and that kind of gives me a bit more interest in the layout. Here, what I'm thinking, so this is just a highly signal box at the moment. I'm thinking again of looking for a kind of BR standard signal box there. Look quite nice. Something else that you might notice, so just where that 37 is, I'll move that now. This used to be a right hand point, and basically the right hand continued along the main line, and it created a little head shunt. Now originally I thought, you know, I could create a depot and, you know, all kind of get quite busy over here, but I decided actually that the other side of the layout's quite busy anyway, and it'd be quite nice to just get a nice scenic flowing S-curve just from here through to the tunnel. So I've tried to keep it nice and simple. I think sometimes less is more. I'd be interested to create some effects over there. So that's it. It's quite a lot. It's taken a lot of work to get it to this point, and a lot of that time has just been getting these ideas in my head into practice. I don't anticipate the incline's going to be an easy one. I think that's going to be problematic, but I want to give it a go. you know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but it'd be just interesting to see. So that's, I almost got away without talking about new additions. So the last couple of months I have had 2 new additions. The first is one in shot right now. It's a Dapol Class 121. It's in the rail track livery, and I believe this is a sandite unit. It just came up in a flash sale at one of our well-known shops, and again it just fits the era. It's quite a quirky little unit. I will get that weathered up at some point, but yeah, I think it's my 3rd Class 121 from Dapol. I think they're brilliant units, and it's a nice new one for the layout. So the kind of major acquisition was these very impressive KUA wagons from Accruascale. Now, I was very kindly bought these for my birthday. As soon as I saw them, I just thought they look incredible, like they really do. And for me, they started, I believe, in 1998, so I've got just enough excuse to get these on my layout. What I really like as well is during the period of my layout, these could end up behind any of the EWS kind of classic kind of traction. I think 66s tended to pull them, but you did get a lot of 37s and 47s in various liveries like Intercity, Rail Express systems. For me, and again, I don't know if it's totally prototypical, but it just sits really nicely with my Class 33 and inspection saloon, which again, the inspection saloon was always put on the back of these KUA wagons in EWS times. So yeah, lovely train. You know, it's equivalent of a 4-car DMU or whatever. It is massive, like the scale of them. The quality is just exceptional. I mean, there's loads of reviews on YouTube, but as I say, that they are brilliant. Highly recommend them. So I think that's it really. I think my next video, I'm hoping it's going to be the Leyland Fleetline models. I have already got the Guy Arabs, so I've got one there just poking out. That one is waiting for its friends from Rapido coming. Currently got 3 on order, but I think, you know, it's very likely I'm going to get some more. I know a couple have already sold out, but they're not the ones that I was particularly interested in. But I'll be getting some in West Midlands blue, and I'll be getting a cream and blue one as well, just because it's got the 74 going to Dudley. But yeah, keep your eye out for those. And yeah, and I'll try and do a video on creating a shuttle as well, because I think that might be quite interesting for a few people. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate your feedback, and yeah, keep your eye out for the next video. I'll leave you some running shots, and bye for now.